Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to EFA209, where today we're going to talk about pensions and advocating for, right? And before I get into that, imagine your pension being cut by 50% after 20 or 30 years of service. Imagine that for a moment. But before we get into it, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, click on the bell, share it with those you love and respect. Now let's get into some equality for all here. Imagine your pension being cut by 50%. Let's just throw a number out there, 50%, 40%, 60% after 20, 25, 30 years of service. Imagine that. That's what the system, the governance out there arbitrarily did to businesses. And let me explain to you why. I'm going to talk about the pot here. So let's go back a year, because it's been about a year now, right? And a year ago, remember that depending on the jurisdiction you're in, which politician you listen to, it was a 2 weeks and a 3 weeks and the lockdowns, that kind of stuff. Well, they kept moving the goalposts, right? Kept moving the goalposts till today, almost a year later, right? Fumbling, keep fumbling, still fumbling. Almost a year later, it's going to go into the 1918 pandemic. Lasted at the most, depending geographically, up to 2 years. Between 1 to 2 years. We've already passed that. In 2021, okay, 100 years later, the latest in technology, the latest in everything, spending in the billions, we're still into it. Okay, so let's just say we're still into it. Now we're going to go into a third wave. We're talking about a third wave. The pensions that I talked about here a moment ago, when you say, imagine your 40, 50, 60% of your pension being taken away from you, and that's what they arbitrarily did, the system did to the businesses. Those businesses, when they kept moving that goalpost, those businesses had a pot. Right, and some of them were closed right up front because the average, the average citizen can't even do like 3 or 4 months at the most on average. The people out there making $100,000+ a year can't even do more than 3 or 4 months on average. They're saying, why? There's so many hands in your pocket that are going up all the way up in different layers, all the way up to the government, right? So that's why people can't put away any money. So unless you're putting a pension system, a pension fund, or a business as you build your own pension. So these businesses right up front, a lot of them had to close because there's so many hands in their pocket, they couldn't survive, they put too much money out, etc. already, building a business, etc. Right? Imagine that. You take $50,000 of your own money that you built up, that now you're going to imagine the idea, you're going to put it together, you're going to formulate it, you're going to start the business, it's going to be a startup, you're going to hire, you're going to do all that stuff, you get your buildings, all that stuff, etc. that it takes to start a business, and then no money's coming in. You're just starting your business, getting it going, and then you shut down, right? So a lot of that money got lost. Then the other businesses, they keep taking money out of their pot to keep feeding something that's nothing coming in. So imagine, let's just take a round number here, $25,000 a month. That's your operating cost for your business, $25,000 a month. But you're shut down. You keep taking out of your pot, your pension. You keep taking out of your pension to pay the bills because you're locked down, but you're hoping that this goalpost is real and you're going to be reopened here. So you keep paying the piper, but nothing's coming in. You might get $5,000 this month, you might get $7,000 this month, but you're still paying $25,000 every month. So, and then they keep moving the goalposts, and that's why you're seeing businesses falling as they're faltering, etc., as they're going through this process, because now they decide, at what point do you have a stop loss on my pension here? Do I lose 60% of my pension, 40% of my pension, 80% of my pension? Do I completely shut down, bite the bullet, declare bankrupt, and start over in life again? Is that where I'm at? Because they keep moving the goalposts, and I'm already talking about a third wave. And then when you're looking at this third wave, and you're looking at these businesses, Canada right now, we are in deep financial shit. We are in deep financial shit in Canada, right? Financially, people, the business minds can see from like miles away with their eyes closed. They can see from miles away, that little expression, you can't see the forest from the trees, right? That business people are saying, oh my God, can't you not see this? Right? But obviously, there's people that are in positions that are making decisions that should not be making those decisions. Because if they can't see this, that we are in financial doo-doo, right? They are, I don't want to get into the details here, but they truly should not be in that position. Let's bring on the stats, right? Right now they're comparing Florida and California. We're comparing countries that are on full lockdowns, like us, a lot of that stuff, and killing businesses and destroying economies and suicides and depression, alcoholism, etc., etc. And then you have other countries that are fully operational, but they impose the rules and regulations on the businesses that everybody complied with, and they don't seem to have much of a difference between the countries that are fully locked down, destroying economies, to those that weren't fully locked down. Now that stats are coming out, all you statisticians politicians out there, there's some great company. There's some great institutions, whether public or private, that are putting numbers out there. Compare your numbers. Your algorithm people, your dyslexic mind people that love numbers, bring out the stats, start doing a comparison. You'll see how much damage was actually caused because of all these lockdowns and shutdowns and so on and so forth. The stresses that were caused in some of the most dedicated family businesses. Think about that. Some of the stresses that were caused, like on restaurants, that kind of stuff, right? And I talked about the business minds can see from a mile away, right? It's not going to take care of itself, like some politicians believe it's going to take care of itself. Whereas Canada now, just on COVID vaccine, we're at number 57 now, right? Economy-wise, provinces and federal is like in debt over their head, like literally drowning in debt, just printing the money. Just it's the mystical. You know that you get stuck on an island and that one person eats everything, thinking they're going to get rescued tomorrow or next week or in 3 weeks, but you're there for years, right? That's the economy. And that person that ate everything on that island the first 2, 3, 4 days, right? That's the people that are making a lot of decisions right now. They're not making decisions for tomorrows. They're making decisions for now. The gluttony, they're power hungry. They're retaining power. The printing of money, the ideology. That's what's going on right now. While they're destroying businesses, some of the most dedicated families that are hostage to their business from sunset to sunrise, everything. They're constantly working. There's no days off here, and they're dipping into their pension to keep it alive because of people that are destroying our country financially. And you'll hear me talking about restaurants and that kind of stuff and all those things. It's because I was a dishwasher in a restaurant when I was a young boy, right? Became a short order cook. I became a cook. I worked into the clubs and the bars. So I work with people that the service industry, that I understand that live with other people so they can share rent and so on and so forth. Some of them are single parents and they're doing their very best they can with different schedules and that. So they're able to work the service industry and it works with their schedule. They can put in hours here and hours there. That functions within their life. Some of the most hardest hit people because of the people making decisions on the economy. That's why you're hearing me a passion, because I understand that business of restaurateurs and service, how tough it is. Those that do it, again, my hat off to you. Those that have been running restaurants in the same area, the same establishment, instead of 20, 30 plus years, wow, amazing. Again, family business, my hat off to you. Ontario, I was getting this morning, in the last few days, my drive here was maybe 15 minutes. I think I heard 3 commercials on Ontario about stay inside. If you don't have your vaccine, stay inside. Meanwhile, Canada's number 57 in the lineup here to get their vaccines to their country. But stay inside, right? Do not go out. But yet, if you look at the data, the research, if you do get the vaccine, it doesn't stop you from contracting COVID and or passing it on. Right? But stay inside until you get your vaccine. And then when you get your vaccine, we'll tell you that it won't prevent you from getting the COVID and it doesn't prevent you from passing it on. Right? Just hopefully if you do get it, you feel better throughout the process. Right? So, but stay inside. How about the ads about mobility, activity, healthy lifestyle, processed food, limiting your processed food, limiting your sugar, the drugs of sugar? Is it because there's money in the healthcare system? That I don't know. Because if I'm running a business and all these people that they say they cost money, right? All the obesities, all the diabetes, all these medical conditions that is draining our system. If you look at any financial stats and numbers, right? But why don't they do a lot more advertising on this instead of stay locked inside, right? Get obese, get into your processed food, get into your alcoholism, get into your drugs, get into your sedentary state, right? And watching it, I don't want to get promotions out there, but that's the world we're in. That's what you're telling people to do instead of increasing their lifestyle and getting healthier, losing weight. All those things are basics of life. Before COVID, the lifespans were already dropping, and I believe it was in the last 3 years they started noticing our lifespan, like the average woman's lifespan, the average man's lifespan on Earth, was actually dropping. And I actually, about over 3 or plus years ago, they started noticing that because of the way we live. Like 60% of the food we consume is processed, and 80% of all processed food is sugar, sugar derivatives, sugar alcohols, etc. Right? And hence why the Alzheimer's, dementia, the Parkinson's, etc. All these 2.6 comorbidity that is killing people on COVID. And the lifespan before COVID was dropping because of the sugars and the processed foods. So imagine it was on a decline before that. Now watch it drop. Watch it drop based on what they have created arbitrarily. Jean-Guy Bourguignon, EFA209.